the truth is, people ask me this all the time, right? Especially like me having an agency background and things like that. They say, Billy, you know, especially if they're newer, just what's the best niche, man? Just tell me what's the best niche. Come on, what's the best niche? Like it's some kind of like, you got the niche, yo, you got the niche. Now let me get you that niche. Like people who are just finding out about me right now on this podcast, they're going to decide how they feel about me, what I represent exactly, based off of this. And there's one that always comes to my mind that everybody needs to hear me loud and clear. The dumbest thing, and I don't care what anyone says, I believe in this to my soul, my bones. The dumbest thing that any entrepreneur can do, not just in marketing, but especially in marketing.
Hi, it's Robin Sharma, and you're tuning into the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin.
Sashin.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on the Millionaire Student Show, where I get the opportunity to pick the minds of this generation's thought leaders, change makers, disruptors, innovators, and inspirations. Dissect their story from the pain they went through, the price they paid, and what their prize looks like today. I formulated the Millionaire Student Self-Development System and Company because this is what I was searching for when I first entered the entrepreneurial world at 17 years old. My mission and purpose is to serve you with virtual mentorship to consciously make your clock tick without taking the thunder away from today's guest. He started from the bottom at an online school by making 600 calls a day. Today, he is an internet marketer and a serial entrepreneur. He founded one of Forbes' fastest growing businesses and has ranked in 2019 and 2020's Inc. 5000, the most successful companies in America, which is a top ranked agency and educational hub for digital advertising and customer acquisition called G.E.N.E.I.U.S.E Marketing Inc., which teaches marketers and entrepreneurs about various tactics to grow their business. His personal ads has been seen 800 million times across Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. He has over 115,000 students in 75 countries and has worked with several of the largest franchises across the globe and has been featured in some of the largest publishing companies around the world, such as Forbes, Entrepreneur.com, Business Journal, the Huffington Post, to only name a few. He's the author of 2 books, How to Sell Shit for Geniuses and Videos That Sell Stuff for Geniuses. The Millionaire Students, please help me in welcoming today's guest, the digital marketer to remember. With his entertaining approach and unique personality, it's understandable why he's reached so much success. Billy G, welcome to the show. Billy, thank you so much for being on the Millionaire Student Show today. I truly appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you having me, brother. Thank you very much.
So on the Millionaire Student Show, my mission and purpose is to dissect 3 Ps: the pain you went through in life, the price you paid, and the prize you've manifested today. What was the pain you went through in life?
I would say, like, first of all, let me start off by saying pain is so relative. You know, when I think of that word pain at where I'm at in my life now, I want to say the pain that I went through was absolutely nothing. There's people suffering in such major ways. I think it would be so privileged and arrogant of me to say pain. You know, my parents, when they came up, both grew up on welfare. They experienced pain, violence, saw things. You know, young, I was exposed to a lot of those things, but honestly, my parents helped me dodge and avoid a lot of those pains. Now, for the sake of this podcast, with that context, you know, what pain did I have to go through? I think a lot of the pain was, for me personally, what stands out most to me is embarrassment. Embarrassment on a come up, because when you're first coming to entrepreneurship, you know, especially in the beginning, we're overly confident, overly arrogant about what we can do, who we're going to be. Now I'm gonna be this big successful entrepreneur. You just watch and see, and, you know, we have all these things. And I fell short for so many years of that. And I moved back into my parents' house 3 times. And every single time I had to really swallow an ego pill. And the question that I remember avoiding the most was, where do you live? Years of my life, I remember just, where do you live was the most painful question for me, because I didn't want to say, with my mom and dad, I'm a grown ass man. I'm a grown ass man who was supposed to be doing these things. And mind you, a lot of the people that I went to the University of San Diego with had solid jobs, careers, were buying their first home. What was I doing? Moving back into the first home I was, you know what I'm saying? So I think it was the embarrassment and the ego and just really it took me a minute to shake those things, you know, but it was also my motivation. So
I'm assuming you didn't come from money, or did you? Do you recall what was your pivotal point that turned it all around for you?
Yes. One, yeah, like I said, both my parents grew up on welfare. So there was no money. And then my mom was one of 13, my dad's one of 4. But like, my dad was the most successful person later in life in our family. And he sold cars. And my mom worked for the county. Like, you know, so we didn't know anybody rich. That was not like even a thing. So it wasn't, I think this is an important note, is we didn't, how we grew up, you know, being able to pay your bills and just be good was success. There was no, like, I want to be able to build a business or be a doctor. Like, none of that. Nobody, that was not, it was survival. So pivotal moment for me was going to the University of San Diego and meeting some rich ass people, like rich, you know what I mean? Like, you know, all the whips, the mansions, you know, all those things, and hundreds of millions of dollars, billions sometimes. And I met these people and I was like, I took away one thing. Man, these people are no different than me. They know things different than me. Say that again. These people are not different than me. They know different things than me. Well, I said, shit, I can learn things. If I can know what they know, then we're the same person. I can do the same things. And that's when I got obsessed with learning. That was so critical for me. And to the point, I mean, I have 2 tattoos on my wrist. I don't know for video or whatever, but this one says vision. This one says perspective. And it has a lot to do with that. I got my perspective. I got those in college, and I got opened up to this whole other world that I didn't even know that exists. See, a lot of people don't understand the word privilege. Privilege is just knowing that it's possible. That's a privilege. You know, I didn't know. I became privileged in college.
And once your mind is expanded, there's no point of return. There's no going back to normality. And that's what people need to understand. Get yourself out of that comfort zone on where you at right now and go out there and experience something. I mean, wealthy people, they walk like us, they talk like us, but they don't think and act like us. And that's the key factor here. When you were a child, your dad made you negotiate for everything. Walk me through that mentorship you experienced, and how did it get embedded into your subconscious?
It was unconscious, right? So our parents always pass on to us what they know, which is good sometimes. Truth is, a lot of it is bad, right? Like if in the case of entrepreneurship, like, you know, as entrepreneurs, we're striving to be the 1% of the world. Most people think like the 99%. So the that our parents pass down to us is just what they know. However, people are highly aware of their strengths a lot. And my dad was highly aware of his, which is sales. Still one of the greatest salespeople that I know. I think I might be able to take him to school these days, but I don't know. Maybe not though. He's the guy. But when I was little, he was programming me to sell from the jump. And I did not know until I was, you know, in college and things like that. And what he would do is he would make me negotiate for the dumbest shit ever. Like, I'd be like, Dad, can I go out and meet up with my friends? He would say no. Like, but like for no reason, just no. I'm like, what are you, like, good? My grades are straight. Like, I'm doing this. I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, just no. And then I would have to sit there and negotiate with him for everything, no matter what it was. Like, yo, can we go here? No. Da-da-da. He would just say no at first. So in my brain, by the time I'm out on my own, I've heard no so many damn times. I knew that it wasn't a real obstacle. No was never anything to me besides my dad trying to get me to practice on opening him up. You know what I mean? Learning the art of making deals. You know, he says no. Well, what if I clean the house and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da? Well, nah, I still don't think that's enough, Billie Jean. Well, what if I do da-da-da-da? So I'm learning about give and take and all these little subtle things. So yeah, he put the spirit in me early.
What is your first introduction to the digital marketing space?
Digital marketing came as a necessity. So long story short, I was selling an online program to help people quit smoking. And we were trying to figure out the best way to sell this. Call centers, networking events, just like, normal hustle stuff. And then there was this thing at the time called Facebook ads. Now, at Facebook ads at the time, there was no newsfeed and shit like that. There was just the little square right column ads that most people probably don't even realize were ads. And I was like, well, I'm desperate. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. So I did. And I remember I ran an ad and we spent like $80 on our first test and we made a sell. We made one sell for $5. But even though we obviously lost money, we lost $75, I learned something. And what I learned is that it's possible to make money while you sleep. When that sale came in, I was sleeping. That was a foreign concept to me. Remember I told you how we grew up? Like, that was not a thing. It was always an exchange of, hustle for dollars. Like there's a trade. So I did this online thing and I'm like, yo, my phone I got an email to say, you got money? Woo, I was like, it's over. I got obsessed. This is another pivotal moment. I got absolutely obsessed with marketing because my brain said this, okay, I spent $75 and I got 100 clicks. But what if I got like another 5 yeses? What if I actually made more than I spent? Oh my God, I could print money. So then I had to learn how. How do I get better at that? And then I learned about persuasive writing. Well, you got to learn how to say this. I learned about page design and website load time. And I go deeper down the rabbit hole because I'm like, I got it. Remember what I said about the school? If I can just know what they know, it hit me that here's something that not a lot of people on this planet know. If I can figure this out, then I could be the guy. You know what I mean? So I saw a pathway and then I never looked back.
Let's talk about marketing. How does one master their message and find the niche that they want to focus on rather than diversifying to only confuse their customers?
Yes, choose. That's a really good question. And they choose. People are so hyped with finding themselves, finding my market, finding my product, finding my customer. You could spend your whole life searching, decide. That's the game. And so the truth is, people ask me this all the time, right? Especially like me having an agency background and things like that. They say, Billy, especially if they're newer, just what's the best niche, man? Just tell me what's the best niche. Come on, what's the best niche? Like it's some kind of like, you got the niche, you got the niche. Let me get you that niche. Like the truth is, most businesses fail. Almost 90% of businesses will fail. So no matter which niche you choose, failure is everywhere. So if you're a marketer, the truth is there are winners and losers in every single niche. So I tell people, you can pick any one of these things, pick anything. And I guarantee you can make a bunch of money with them. So just choose based on what you like to talk about, what you're interested in, what you could fall in love with, and then just go with it and stop overthinking it. Find something that you're interested in and then just go. Choose, don't find.
And then how should a company create a brand personality?
Brand personality. Well, everybody is creating a brand 24/7, no matter what, because a brand is nothing more than how you're received. You know what I mean? Like, people who are just finding out about me right now on this podcast, they're going to decide how they feel about me, what I represent exactly, based off of this. And there's a formula to brand. Number one, you have associations. Right? The fact that they follow you and they already love you, and now I'm here with you, we're buddies. Now it's like, oh, cool, association. I already get points with that. That is called brand, right? In addition to that, you have your PR. Where can people read about you? So if they go Google me and then they see me in Forbes and all these other and then I'm like, oh shit, he must be legit. Okay, so I got the PR docket, and then they're also going to say, what are his reviews and reputation? You know what I mean? Okay, let me go on his thing. They're going to see our Google reviews, almost 1,000, 5-star Google reviews. Oh, shit. So all of these things build your brand. Now, here's the funny, what stages has he spoken on? Oh, shit. Okay, this guy's a speaker. He's in, like the great part about personal brand is it's math. You know, when a record label, as you know, when a record label brings someone on, it's not an accident that they're famous. People pay to make them famous. They say, okay, I'm going to make you go on these radio shows. Okay, I'm going to put you on Good Morning America, or I'm going to put you on this TV show. Okay, I'm going to put you on a track with this veteran artist who's been in the game for a minute. It's math. And then people think they are who they are because of what is being shown. Now, the cool thing about a business is once you're super famous, it's harder to control because you have a lot of different media outlets all sharing different stories. The bigger you are, harder it becomes. But when you're a company, most people aren't talking about your damn company. So you can create the media. You can go and do, right now, who's ever listening, 10 different interviews, put it on the internet, and now that's your brand. That's who you are. You can make up all of it. It's an amazing time to build a personal brand because like a lot of people see me and I'm like, they'll say something about me, whether it's really great or sideways, whatever. And I just go, look, the only reason why you think anything of me is because I told you what to think. Everything you see about me, I put out. I control that. My videos, my ads, that's my. I told you how to feel about me. So again, it's this unique time where we control our own stories and people need to hop on game.
A lot of it also comes from organic because it just happens. It's not so calculated. You create this following of raving fans and then you fix it in the air just like how a pilot fixed the plane when it hits turbulence rather than planning it because people see it and they think everything is just to the T. No, it's not. It's so, we're doing multiple things and testing it ourselves.
Yes. And it's fluid, I think is the word, right? Because as you talk to more customers, as you hone your product, your service, identify and choose more of your niche, et cetera, it's always evolving and changing. So like that's the other thing too, is like if your brand is one way, it doesn't mean you can't switch it up. Buddy,
what are a few mistakes in marketing you wish you avoided knowing what you know today?
There's one that always comes to my mind that everybody needs to hear me loud and clear. The dumbest thing, and I don't care what anyone says, I believe in this to my soul, my bones. The dumbest thing that any entrepreneur can do, not just in marketing, but especially in marketing, is this. Trying to figure things out by yourself. See, what happens is in the beginning, most of the time we don't know any other entrepreneurs who are doing what we're doing. So our circle is really small. We're just trying to figure it out on our own. And then we think we're the smartest people in the room. And in addition to this, we've had so many people talk to us about our careers. Sometimes we get this chip on our shoulders of, I'll show you, just wait a second. I'm going to show you, look how great I am. And we have all these things in our head. And as a result, we're hesitant to ask for help because one, we don't want to look stupid like we don't know what we're doing because we're a little insecure and embarrassed at the time. And then the other side of that is, we just want to be able to say like, this was all me, baby. I didn't need shit. I don't need nobody. You don't believe in me now? These are subconscious things that are happening in people's brains. But boy, is that the biggest mistake ever. That's one of the things I learned through my entrepreneur career is like the more successful people that you meet, the smarter they are, the more successful they are, the more they ask for help. When you talk to the really intelligent people, they absolutely by no means pretend that they know all the answers. Matter of fact, they will cite other people. They'll even tell you. You talk to the most successful person ever. They'll be like, oh yeah, I do not know that. I do not know that. They'll just say, I don't know. There's only two things that stop people from blowing up a business: arrogance and ignorance. That's it. And once you realize that the cheat codes to all of business are written in books, it's far. Like literally everybody right now, if you're like, oh my gosh, I just can't think of a way to get money. There's all kinds of books about raising money and getting money. Well, if I could just hire people, there's a gazillion books about hiring people and pay structure and how to do it on no budget. I mean, look, it's literally in books. When people get to their pinnacle of success, they like to write a book for legacy and they literally put their best in there. And most of the time, if you ever hire a coach or something, most of their information is in their $6 book that you ignored. You just wanted to feel good with the access. The joint was in the book. You have access to it. So, again, a lot of people are just like, well, I don't like to read. Yeah, I hated reading, but I love to solve problems. See, I can read when there's an objective. When I need to figure out how to do something, everybody can read an instruction manual. That's how you have to take reading as opposed to just this abstract joint.
You've mentioned the word arrogance twice throughout this entire podcast. There's a fine line between being arrogant and confident. I believe arrogant is when you think you're better than others. Confidence is knowing you the best and, you're better than the person you were yesterday. What's your personal, definition?
I think arrogance, sticking with what I was just saying, is an arrogant person will not tell you that they don't know. Confident people will have the humility to tell you in a second that they don't know, and they'll be vulnerable. They'll share their failures. So confidence, in a lot of ways, a true confident person is not afraid to tell you the absolute worst about them. That's why when I meet people and all they do is they talk that shit about how great life is, I worry what happens behind the scene, because I could tell that they're hurting and in a lot of pain and they're putting up a wall. The real ones, like when I get, people behind closed doors and stuff, all we do is talk about like, oh my God, this is happening in my life and this is what's going on. It's like, that's the realness. The second you meet somebody who's buttoned up, trying to pretend, out of here. Like, yeah.
For someone who has tried paid marketing such as Facebook, Instagram ads, and haven't seen any ROI, what do you believe they could be doing wrong?
Well, one, keep trying. It's nothing. But look, with advertising, people always trying to get really techie with like Facebook ads and things about what you should click, what you should do, et cetera. And, the truth is the best way to get the highest converting advertisement, the ads that make you most more money, is play around with the offer. Period. So I'll give you an example. When I was doing a lot of lead generation for a lot of health and wellness companies, our cost per lead would heavily change based on the fact if we were saying, hey, come work out for free for 2 weeks, or hey, a $10 paid trial, or hey, a 24-hour pass, or hey, just fill out this form if you're interested. The offer is, you take big companies that scale like Dollar Shave Club. Their offer was so fantastic. $1 for all your shaving equipment. It was ridiculous. The offer is the everything. The offer is literally the most important thing in all of business. People, like when you think of your business, you should say, what's the most ridiculous offer? I'll give you an example. The best companies in the world find a way to have the best offer, then monetize it. Shout out to Tony Robbins, but one of the examples that I'm sure you heard it, but the one he's always gives is about how Garmin was the navigation company, where before navigation was on everybody's phones, you used to stick this thing on your car and it'd give you navigation. It was like $70 or $60 or something like that. And then Google comes out and they said, here, we'll just give you a free app on your phone that does all of that for you. And then the business gets shut down because literally the thing that other people were selling, they were giving away for free. Think about that offer. How powerful is that offer? Instead of paying $70, we'll give it to you absolutely free and we'll put it on your phone. It's almost impossible to compete with. And then Google said, hey, yeah, we'll just make money off of selling you advertisements. They found other ways to monetize. That's the whole trick for business. Like, imagine if right now in my office, I would say, hey, everybody who buys my I'll give you a free Tesla. I would have a line from California to New York, people waiting to get in here. Now people say, yeah, you can't do that because it's impossible. No, I just haven't thought creatively enough about how to monetize that. What if I got Tesla to sponsor it and maybe there was a subscription on the back end? That's the game. How can you give away the impossible to destroy the competition? And if you can do that, that's where businesses scale. This is why you see companies who really suck ass at marketing kill it, because they just have product to market fit down better than most. Their offer is just sicker. And that's a great way to win the game of business.
I mean, I've personally seen your ads. It might be through a pixel, it might be through retargeting, but it made it to Africa. How do you personally distribute your budget between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google ads, and even influencer marketing?
Great question. I personally distribute based on one principle. Is it making money? So when we test stuff, and we right now, our ads have been seen about 850 million times. So, and on my personal brand. So like, when I think of this at this point, when we're hitting so many people, basically anyone in the world who's thinking about entrepreneurship, I want to be the face that they show up with by default, by being in front of them. It creates a marketing challenge because, when you're first starting off, it really is about niching down and really talking to someone. But our message has to feel like that, but yet really hit the masses, right? Because of the scale at where, we want to play it within an arena. So you almost have to like market to universal truths. Like everybody wants to be healthier. Everybody would like to make more money. everybody wants to have a better relationship. Like there's some universal things that no matter which world you're in, country, place, etc. That's it. So one of like our most popular ads that we circulated, worldwide was one about a bank account. Because no matter where you go in the world, everyone has a bank account, right? Well, a lot of people have bank accounts, I should say. Okay. So I pull out my cell phone and I go, here's a bank account. And I start scrolling through. And I say, if you look at this, on average, there's 166 withdrawals, meaning you take money out of here 166 times. But you want to hear the ironic part? Typically, there's only 2 deposits. Now tell me this. How the hell can you get ahead when you're spending money 166 times, but you're only inputting money twice? Well, you got to play offense. But you're sitting here and you're like, I don't know how to play offense. Well, let me show you. Let me show you how to use simple ads like this to play more offense so you can even out the score a little bit, because 2 to 166 is a hard way to win. That's more or less what I said. But see, it's a universal message. But it also felt very personal because it's about their bank account. So it's a really kind of unique mix. But having said that, when we test something like that on Facebook, YouTube, we let the data dictate. And that was an extremely profitable ad in every single country in the world. Well, I'm exaggerating when I say that, but in a lot of countries in the world. And it's a balance because when you go international, when I say international from the US perspective, but the cost per click is much cheaper most of the time. But your cost per sale isn't always the same, your conversions. So we look at key metrics without being too techy for your audience. Pretty much is this. I want to know how much I spent and how much did it cost me to get a transaction? Did I make more money than I spent? If I did that, then I will continue to spend money in that marketplace at the end.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. Because once you leave the US, you're not spending in dollars anymore. They're spending in their local currency.
Right. Exactly. So price points is interesting too, right? We got to change our price points. And then, if it's like in Brazil, most people speak Portuguese and, English isn't there. So, do we limit our budget there? It gets like a conundrum. So, we really try and allow Facebook to do its thing and to work the pixel. You know what I mean? Like that's what it does. That's what the machine is for. So we really try and play towards that.
Hey, I want you to take a quick split second of your time. All I want you to do is hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. I want to update you when I have a next iconic guest on my show. Stay in student mode.
Yo, it's your boy, Billy G.E.N.E.I.U.S.E, and you're tuning into the Millionaire Student Show with Sashin. Let's go.
I've heard you talk about the 3 E's to marketing success. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. Entertain, educate, execute, baby. Right now, that first E, entertain. Businesses think entertainment is an option. And the truth is, it's a requirement. If all you guys that are listening to this and girls that are listening to this, you are probably experienced where you post something on social media and no one, or it feels like nobody liked it, nobody saw it, nobody commented. And then you posted things that, oh my gosh, everyone's commenting and liking, etc. What's the difference? One was entertaining and one was not. But I'll put this in business terms for you. If you post something and it's shown to 10 people and your competition posts something and it's shown to 100 people because theirs was simply more entertaining, who's going to win? They will. They're just getting reach. And so that's the thing is social platforms, as they become more competitive and more people get on it, but yet there's still limited advertising space, they're being really picky about, what they want to promote. And if something has a low relevance score, meaning people aren't engaging with it, they're ignoring it, it's getting bad feedback, they just simply won't show it. And when social media is now, the number one source of traffic for a lot of businesses, you have to play by the rules that they want, which is to be entertaining. So, for example, like I may have an advertisement, I'll put like my Lamborghini in my ad. Then I don't care about Lambo. Like I've had nice cars for a while. I don't care about that stuff. However, it's entertaining. People stop. And then I put on the license plates, I'm black, because I'm black. And that's funny, but it stops people in their tracks. It's entertaining. So I meet the customer where they're at. I'm like, ooh, cool, Lamborghini, blah, 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 blah. And then once I actually get their information, I educate them about real skill sets, things that actually matter. But first, I got to meet the customer where they're at. If I just ran an ad and I just started to be all educational and teachy at first, nobody will pay attention. That's why you have to educate, right? Then, I mean, that's why you have to entertain. Then you educate so you can execute.
Let's talk about live streaming. I believe it's so overlooked. How have you used it to your advantage?
Your live streaming is fire. I've actually been really lazy with it as of this year. Not in a good way. Like I should be doing more of it. But, I'll put it simply like this. In regards to live streaming, people buy your product, and everybody knows this, but people buy your product because they know, like, and trust you, right? No matter what it is, if they like you there. Well, what gives people a better look at who you are other than a live stream? See, there's always a skeptical factor when people see like a video, they read something because they know it was proofread, edited, and it's being shown to the T of exactly how you want it to be shown. So when you're live, people feel like you can't fake the funk as much. And it's one of the best ways to establish trust. And most of the time when someone's not buying from someone, it's just because they don't believe you. So that's why live stream is dope.
Now, you're a huge fan of YouTube marketing. I've heard you talk about a YouTube video lasts longer than a billboard and get more return than real estate. Talk to me about that. And by the way, have you ever watched the Volvo video where Volvo competed at the Super Bowl against every other car brand? Did you hear about that?
No.
I'm going to send that to you. So basically what they did was every single brand tried to market at the Super Bowl. And Volvo said, we're going to give the car away to one person, but every time you see a car brand marketing themselves at the Super Bowl, you use this hashtag and you tell us why we should give a family member a Volvo. And they trended. They had the most amount of sales within that duration of the game.
I love that. Dude, that's sick.
I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, send it. Please do. I mean, see, that's what I meant. It's the creativity, right? Like the thinking outside the box. And that's why everybody's listening. If you don't have a big budget, it doesn't matter. Like you can be creative. Like, anyways, sorry, I digress. But what was the question before that?
So talk to me about why a YouTube video lasts longer than a billboard and it gets more than real estate.
Yeah, so this is the thing, you guys, with the ads is, you control who sees the ad. So, you can press a button, say, I only want to show this advertisement to, John, Doe, Mary, Mark, whatever. And you can continually run in that cycle. So like, for example, during the Super Bowl, if you run an ad during a commercial during a Super Bowl, that's the only time you can show that ad is like it's a Super Bowl ad, etc. But like I've been running some ads on YouTube for literally 5 years. So imagine making a video one time and being able to generate sales from it, daily for 5 years. That's why I say it's a better investment than real estate. Because to make the video takes me like $0. Like, the team just picks up the camera and I start going, but yet it generates sales all the time. So it's way more profitable. And I can use it frequently. Like, you know what I mean? So I look at my content the same way that most people look at their real estate. But, I guess in short, it's just an advertisement is nothing more than a message that asks people to buy. That's it. So when we go on YouTube, we just cycle through and say, hey, who hasn't seen this ad yet? And then we show it to them and we keep running. There's new people interested in entrepreneurship every day. When they come into this world, we find them.
Billy, with the uncertain economy and unprecedented coronavirus right now, what is your current business mindset and game plan?
To make sure that our message is relevant. So to give perspective to that, last year, a lot of our message was about scaling and going to the next level. This year, the mindset of the customer was about surviving. So we had to meet the customer where they were at. So we had this hook that we started rolling with in March, which was, if I lost it all and I had 30 days to generate my stuff and get back on my feet, here's what I would do. And it crushed it. It crushed it. Like, and again, the product, almost the same. Truth is, like, if economy's going good, you want to advertise to just go to the next level. Economy's going bad, you want to advertise to like get your business back together. I teach the same thing. I teach people how to create ads to sell. So, that front end though, those words that I put in the front, that's what changes. And that's what was a really, really massive deal for us. So we're going to continue to do what we do, which is helping people get more customers. But my hook is going to continually change based on what's going on in the world to make sure that we're staying in a relevant conversation.
I just want people to understand it's possible, it's doable, and it's been done before. I mean, you personally turned $31, a $31 offer into $1 million in sales in a single week, correct?
Yeah, and I think like 2 million throughout the month or something like that.
So walk me through that step-by-step process, because a lot of your content in the beginning was shot on iPhones. It wasn't as, Android, yeah. It wasn't as perfect as people see it today. What is that process to making $1 million in a week, $2 million in that month?
Yes, I would say it's cheating. Meaning, I've been doing this for a decade. I have an audience. I have a brand. And just imagine, like, for years, you've been selling higher prices, right? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, et cetera, everything in between, $500, et cetera. So imagine drilling a message into people's head for a half a decade. And then after the half a decade saying, hey, all that stuff that you saw, you can get it for $31. It creates a buying frenzy, right? So can you do that overnight? Everything's, possible, but is it very unlikely? Yes, it's very unlikely. So that's what I mean by cheating. I don't actually cheat, but just like I have an unfair advantage doing this for a while. But the strategy stays the same. If you do a flash sell, some of your best products, then you can make it happen. And then people say, well, if you give away your best product, like, what do you do then? Just make a new product. People get so married to like that one thing that they have. It makes them new. People do it all the time.
We get paid in public for what we do in private. And, that's just a typical example. A good friend of mine, Post Malone, I'm sure you've heard of him. He came to South Africa. He did a concert in 90 minutes, not even 90, 60 minutes, made $2 million. But all those hours behind the scenes, in the studio, the lyrics, the songs, people don't see that. Billy, information changes situation. As we speak, you've got a beautiful car. A lot of people out there don't have that advantage, but, it makes things a bit easier. But loud noise always gets the attention. We have a lot of mutual friends, Ty, Grant. They've been loud. They've got the attention. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about being loud and getting attention?
Yeah.
I feel like, you can be loud, you can be colorful, you just got to stand out. You know what I mean? I don't believe you can get attention without standing out. You know what I mean? And for one thing or the other, I think people need to get away from like the loud noise and be more concerned with like, what is the noise? So for example, like if I hear a car crash outside, I'll look and I'm like, oh, it's crazy. If I hear a beautiful choir singing outside, I'll be like, oh, look, they both got my attention, but one is a up situation and one is like beautiful music that I want to be closer with, right? So I think it's about like how you get your noise. And I think some people and I'm not saying the guys you did, they're friends and doing their thing, but I think there's other people out there who will do things without integrity and they'll create a car accident just to get attention. That's never okay to hurt people to get your way. You know what I'm saying? Versus organizing a choir to sing beautiful music out there that helps people. So I think as long as your integrity is intact and you're doing it in an ethical way, then be as creative as you want. You know what I mean? Be as creative as you want. Or what's the Richard Branson story that he tells about like, I forget it, but like he flew a blimp over, I don't remember. Dead. But anyways, look it up, something blimp and Richard Branson. It's a crazy story with Virgin Atlantic. But yeah, so I just think it's about how. But I do think like if you're playing in the middle, you don't have an opinion, you don't stand up for things, just people will ignore you and you'll be forgotten. Like this corporate where people just try and stay in the middle and they don't want to say anything because they're afraid it'll offend people or rather wrong. You never hear of them. You never hear of them because no one's talking about them because they're not taking a stand for anybody. They're not taking a stand for anything. See, there's a difference between followers and fans, right? People can have followers, but fans believe in you. They believe in what you say. They believe in what you do. Like my Genius gang, dog, like some goes out, I literally send out an email. You want to see fans? Like we have, because I think we're at 130,000 customers or something like that. But like we've given out so much free over this last decade, information that's changed lives. Probably got more success stories, I would guess, more than most people on the planet. Bruh, I just wait for the day I get annoyed enough with some time where I just want to be like, yo, toast Like people will ride or die for you when you change their life. It's the reason why Tony Robbins has such a cult-like following, is because imagine someone through a video course saves your marriage, stops you from committing suicide. How much are you going to ride or die for that person? So ask yourself, it's one thing to be known, but what the are you known for?
Powerful.
That's the difference between being followed and having fans, you know?
And, you spoke about followers, fans, and then you get buyers. When I first got involved in, outside my direct sales business, I never understood that. I never understood that people will just be followers. They won't be buyers. You'll have this huge social media following. It's that very small percent that actually convert from followers to fans, from fans to actual buyers.
100%. 100%. I mean, it's the numbers game. Like it's just a big difference from somebody window shopping and browsing and actually swiping their credit card. And that art is art, and it's math, and it's science, and it's psychology, and it's persuasive writing, and it's brand. It's the cumulative of all of those things coming together, Now
you're leading an entire team, a force that you're leading at your G.E.N.E.I.U.S.E marketing company. And, a lot of the people on this podcast listening in right now is either in sales or leadership or both. How do you define great leadership?
How do I define great leadership?
Especially during this tough time right now.
Yeah. I think great leadership transfers confidence, transfers hope. And I also think it transfers good. And I say that with, good is relative because people can spin good in any way. Hitler, one of the worst people on the planet. Unfortunately, I'm going to say this, and some people are not going to get it. And by no means, as a black man, do I stand with anything that he did. But Hitler was a great leader in a lot of ways. He, got people to rally up and believe in something. And I mean, people were so committed to his cause that they would literally go out and kill people. That's why I said the transferring of good is an important thing, which clearly he did not have. But a true leader can create a vision and get people to not just follow the vision, but to embody it as their own and go all in and 100%. I mean, leadership changes. Good leadership can impact the hardest thing in the world to change, which is human behavior. You go into any business where for the business to work, you have to change human behavior. You have to have an insane amount of money, an insane amount of influence. Like you have to it's very difficult to do. So a good leader can come in and change human behavior. And also too, I'm a big fan of leadership of people who can do, best leaders, I think, are the people who have been there, done that, not just the people who say, do this. So, yeah, it's a good question. I could probably do some more thoughts on that. By the way, like, by no means anybody like Hitler. Let's just be clear.
So if you lost it all in the year 2020, how would you restart, and what would you do differently to compress timeframes?
Right now, if I lost it all, but I still have my brain, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So my greatest strength is you can give me a computer and a phone, and I can walk into any business on this planet, and I will be able to bring them customers within a week and bring sales. And so with that, I can go into a business and negotiate a percentage, right? Hey, if I bring you X amount of sales this week, and I also am a beast on the phones and in chat and all those things, then I can get X percentage. So with that, I can make money. So what I would do is I would make one video ad with my cell phone, and I would target business owners. I would say, hey, if you're a business owner, I have a ridiculous offer for you. Let me take over your marketing for a week. If I increase sales by X amount of percentage, I get to keep this. If you're interested, click the button below and let's talk. And then I get on the phone with them, learn about their business. If I was passionate about it and I thought it actually helped people and it was good and all those things, I would take the deal. And then I would run an advertisement for their business, call people, close it, and collect the money. The end. That's my whole thing. Like, that's it. I'm just really good at getting customer. Like I know how to put out a message and get customers at scale and fast. So to the point where in this, you mentioned the difference between confidence and arrogant, but I'm confident in that because I've been doing it for a decade and I've done it in so many different industries and I do it every single day and I'm involved in it every day. I I'm obsessed with it. I embody it. So, when I say that, it's not because, ooh, I'm so cool. It's because I'm so practiced. I'm so practiced at that it would be really hard for me to lose. Matter of fact, I'm so confident in that aspect. If you put me against almost any other entrepreneur on the planet for small businesses, right? We're not talking mergers and acquisitions and different game, but a small business, I will beat anybody in that.
I love the confidence, man. What's the craziest thing you've done with money?
With money?
You always hear those stories, though. You hear those stories.
I love that. Oh man. I mean, what are we? We're on podcast right now. I mean, there's two different answers. If you ask me this question, just you and I. Goddamn. I don't know if I've like had an event that was like super crazy, but like, I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't know if there's been like one thing. I mean, my life is pretty ridiculous right now. Like in a good way, I'm really blessed. Like I have a driver, I have a chef, I have, an office in my podcast studio. I have 2 assistants. Like my whole life is pretty ridiculous. And I would be ignorant to not acknowledge, the ridiculousness of it. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous. I don't know. I'm really lucky, and obviously I work hard, but I also got a lot of things that just went my way. So I don't know if there's really been like, like that thing. I don't really like things that much, but experiences. So like, I don't know.
What's your take on network marketing?
My take on network marketing is it depends. I have some dope ass friends that kill it in network marketing, and they are legit, and they build dope teams, and they have dope products that they get behind, etc. I think the problem is because the barrier to entry is lower, like in any industry where barrier to entry is lower, where people can just come in and get started. You get a lot of people who are out there promising bullshit, where they're positioning things like you don't have to do the work. Dude, it's a business just like anything else. The people who come in, do the work, will do it with integrity, stay to the process, practice sales, and like any other like this is the thing. A successful network marketer or successful anything, you put them in a different industry, they will still be successful. Period. It's the habits, it's the people, it's the thoughts. And so it's all about how the person is using the power. But if somebody is just like, oh, wow, I get how the system works. Let me just go to any bullshit product, create a story behind it, tag an influencer to it, put my team there, that burns me up. But that happens in all industries. That happens in every industry. So people want to act like be exclusive to network marketing. That's not true. I've seen it in every single industry that anybody can name. So it depends on how it's being ran and how it's being pitched and how it's being supported.
And then how would you advise network marketers to market themselves or even their company? Because it's more of a membership, or it's more of a become a customer, as opposed to buying something that's a service or buying something a one-time deal.
Well, I would say like almost all of them, have some kind of product that is the staple of it, right? Like it all kind of starts there. So I would remember my whole thing is scaling with online ads because it's just so fast. Well, Facebook's got a lot of restrictions on what you can say and do with network marketing. I'm sure this audience knows. So I would stop talking about it on front. So I'm always on the side of social media, and I would make it all my back end. Meaning, let's say the MLM was about, a superfood, a drink, it's all over, like whatever it is. I would try and find a way to give it away for free and get people addicted to the product. And then I would have a phones team go behind all of them and pitch them on the opportunity. Simple as that.
Love it.
I would stay far away from like making any claims, because then you're going to just always be against Facebook, going back and forth. Like, will you approve this? Da, da, da. Let the product speak for itself. Get people raving fans about it. Hey, did you try it? But this is the thing. On Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you get to control who sees it. You get to control who sees it. So I would make sure the only people that I'm offering the product to are people who are likely going to buy. They make X amount of income. If it's like house moms, then I would only choose zip codes where a lot of house moms live. I would only choose it to women. So it's really funny because you can literally, if like a single mom working at home is your ideal customer, dude, you can target them on Facebook and just offer them the free sample. And then you have a team calling behind them. How'd you like the product? What'd you like about it? Do you have any other friends that would like it too? What are their names? Gotcha. Do you mind if I show you an you know what I'm saying? And then the process goes.
There's just an limitless amount of people to get in front of, whether you in the industry, out of the industry, 7.5 billion people around the world. In wrapping up, what does self-talk and your internal dialogue with yourself sound like?
With me personally.
Just you and you.
It's a constant conversation about me and living to my potential. You know, it's a constant conversation of like, I'm genuinely in a place right now where I believe anything is possible. And if I really believe that with conviction, how much am I not doing right now? How much more do I have to grow? How much more do I, I'm so aware of what I don't know. So like my self-talk every day kind of wakes up, and number one, I make sure that everyone around me is safe and secure. That's like one of my biggest core values. So with that comes making sure financials are good, et cetera. And so it's a lot of self-talk. It's a lot of talk with other people, making sure they're good, and I'm supporting my team to make sure they hit their goals, because when they hit their goals, I hit mine. And then other things after that, my self-talk is thinking a lot about next steps, next chapter, next vision. What else can we build? To me, the hard part was the beginning. This is the fun part. You know what I mean? The hard part is that first year. That's why there's certain entrepreneurs out there who talk about how they, took over a $3 million store and then grew it. Well, the hardest sell is the first $30, the first $300. Like that's the hard part. That's the whole thing. So I think I'm at this part right now where I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, and this is the fun part. So I spend a lot of time thinking about what the next chapter is, what kind of TV shows and formats that I'm going to go all in and dominate Netflix, Hulu with. I stalk a lot of Gordon Ramsay. I love his business model, and I'm looking to follow that.
Where can people find you?
Just check me out on Instagram. Billy G.E.N.E.I.S.E Marketing, G.E.N.E, Billy G.E.N.E.I.S.E Marketing. And just be prepared to just follow some really trollish where I just get to around and have fun.
Billy, man, thank you so much for your time. Certain people, when they show up, you can just sense the natural energy when someone's winning right now. And I can sense you at, you on your way to the pinnacle. Not yet, but I can sense that you still got that desire, man. I want to thank you for being on the show. I truly appreciate it.